Дальше, 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 дальше.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the 69 Sniffing Brigade, Convoy 26. This is not a made up number in front of me. We've bought this time our 300th truck thanks to your help, NAFO fellas and fundraisers and donators from around the world. In total, 308 trucks delivered, another 11 here that you can see today, along with drone jammers, Mavics and FPVs. So let's find out what the units have got to say about the conflict.
Русский военный корабль.
My name is Anna, my call sign is Oleksievna, and I am a commander of a mortar unit, a mortar platoon. I joined the Armed Forces of Ukraine on 24 February 2022. I have been serving for 2 years now. I used to study and pursue my hobbies. I am a skydiver. I made jumps with a parachute. In general, I had a fun, quiet and cheerful life.
Amazing. Well, I hope that you can return to your hobbies very soon and that, you know, we can fight off the orcs and get you back in the sky soon. Can you give us an idea of what type of mortars you're using within the unit you command?
We fired 60mm mortars. These were MP60 mortars. We also worked with a BM37, an 82mm mortar, and I worked with 120mm mortar. My unit is still in development, as I think most units of the Armed Forces of Ukraine are. We're training with various new types of weapons, taking advanced training courses. It is safe to say we're not standing still. We're not only mortar operators, we're also studying new types of weapons, which I cannot say anything about, but they do exist. This vehicle will be used not only for mortar launches, but also for transporting other equipment necessary for our work. But of course, my guys will be driving this vehicle. That is why both the vehicle and the electronic warfare stations are necessary. The direction we're moving in is very dangerous, and these things will simply help us to survive. Most importantly, the health and the safety of our personnel.
Anna, this truck was fundraised as well by another Anna from Ukraine. Right? So it's Anna with Anna in this. Anna, I'd like you to come and present our 69 Sniffing Brigade patch.
It's an honor. Thank you so much. And it's an honor to make it real. And thank you so much to all the beautiful people and community of our channels and your communities for doing it. Just a few greetings and words to the community of my channel from Anna, because they were happy to support and they are very glad to see both of the cars that we helped fundraise are given to women commanders.
We need both financial and weapons support. When you talk about the fact that there is a war going on, that we are living in a war, that the war has been going on not for 2 years as everyone believes, but it has been going for 10 years, since 2014. It is also necessary to talk about our prisoners of war who are now in Russia, because if you are silent, people simply forget about it. We need to talk about the fact that not only military personnel but also civilians are dying. Because a huge country like Russia with a tyrant as a president has somehow decided that it wants to dominate others and considers himself better than others. We need to understand that Russians and Ukrainians are not the same thing. This should be said in Europe. During the Soviet era, everyone was used to the idea that there was one state and one people. It's not. We are completely different. Since 1991, we have gained independence. And now, they're just trying to take it away from us.
Здобувати незалежність, тому що зараз у нас її просто намагаються відняти.
My call sign is Torin. I'm partly one of the medics and the combat pilot for the 14th US Regiment. This is Musa, our chief battalion medic. So basically, our unit is a new kind of, I would say, branch that started this branch, this unmanned systems that could be used at the battlefield today with great success. We have a lot of groups working on the key areas of the front line, delivering organic fires with those systems to the enemy.
Okay.
And in terms of Casevacs, you know which conditions we are operating. You've seen those mud roads, those unbearable terrain that any vehicles, even armored, couldn't be able to go through. So mainly we have support units that actually always on standby with our groups with Casevac vehicles like this.
Well, it's a Toyota Hilux at least, so it's a good brand. So
it's an awesome vehicle.
should we have a little look around the back as well, so you can
let's
see
go.
what we do to it? You have a spare set of mud tyres, and then what they do is you've got this on the side, right, so you can put whatever you need in there, tourniquets, Israeli bandages. It comes with this that you can pull out rapidly. Seats so the medics can sit on the side with the patient, stabilising them. Different lighting systems inside it as well for blood lighting or night lighting. So hopefully this can serve you a little bit better than just a basic pickup truck or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. It has even a diesel heater inside.
Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully this is the type of thing that is a little bit more, you know.
It's exactly what we're looking for, because Musa is always striving to get all the Casevacs made like this.
Yeah. Well, Musa, you have one.
Awesome, thank you.
And this lady here is responsible as well. This is Anna from Ukraine and her community help fundraising.
My community is responsible for all of that.
There you go. So we reached out to Anna. Anna was very gratefully got involved, and her community very quickly were able to fundraise this for you. So you know you can thank everyone that follows Anna and her online. Vehicles like this are essential, right? This will save people's lives, many people's lives. So you know, amazing to everyone that supports you online. You know, maybe you can even explain that even more than me, right? This is really going to help a lot of people.
Really gonna help, because, as I said, this is the most viable vehicle for today's war that we are facing in terms of getting to the patient, evacuating them fast enough, so you don't get, because medics are considered by Russians as any other combatants a viable target. They don't care how big of cross you put on your vehicle, you will probably get hit, and actually medics get hunted down, because usually it's a bigger group, not like a one soldier, two soldiers. Probably would be a medical team inside and some casualties, so they just consider it as a group size target and prioritize it in terms of hitting.
Can you start by just telling everyone a little bit about your brigade and what you're doing?
Our brigade's fighting for Ukraine freedom, starting like 2014 from the start. Now, last 2 years, we're standing in Donetsk region, fighting in Donetsk region, almost 2 years, and we're stable in the front line, not waving. So yeah, so we're just stable now.
If you're going in the truck within range of Russian FPVs, like how many might you be attacked by? What's the worst situation that you can give as an example? Like, is it 1? Is it 10? You know, what is there a typical type of situation?
The last situation we had was a week ago. So we were just in the car and we saw the drone just coming. They're just not attacking you straight, but they just can make one circle around you and then just attack. And we found out that one of these are just above our car. Yeah. So it was a very lucky situation that we had like a trees here and a small hole between the trees, so we could just turn.
Sorry, I was trying to get around the paywall.
Right, and just go away. So at
and
the
it's not
moment
working
we saw
so far.
that the FPV was just trying to attack us. So
it's very much not working. So yeah,
it was like an amazing thing.
I guess we're just hoping that Stanenko publishes the review
so you have the natural
as soon as possible, so we can
protect,
actually look at what's in the article.
can dive in.
I'm hoping that the stream on it is going to be informative, because I can't find a way to go around it.
But again, these things.
The USA are failing.
And of course,
USA
if
is
you're just
failing.
Walking, like a soldier's unit, like moving to the front line.
USA absolutely is failing currently. This is like I don't know what's going on inside, but like you clowns are ridiculous. USA is failing. It doesn't delete all of the aid that USA has given so far and all of the ammo that USA has given so far. But come on, are we not seeing the situation that's going on?
Indonesia?
Yeah,
wow.
What the hell is wrong with you?
So you've got
USA is failing Ukraine as we speak at this moment, alright? Is it going to change? Of course I hope it is, but right now the lack of action is causing real losses on the battlefield.
Yeah, and then just from that day, 2-3 days, and then I
unreliable ally, absolutely. In the current situation, definitely. There's a lot of problems caused by allowing Trump and his clowns into positions of power. And until something is solved, you know, we will likely still be waiting for aid, which is a horrible situation to be in.
Amazing story. I'd like to introduce you to Renault. You are our superstar.
Yeah, bullshit in the fighting. Yeah, no, definitely,
to present
absolutely.
the Sniffing Brigade patch.
The situation is ridiculous. They did say that soon they're going to be able to, though. Northern European Union. Yeah, USA is far more powerful than the entirety of the European Union. Yes.
Thank you. And am I right in saying,
of course.
Renault, like,
what sort of a flex is that?
Irina has a name on the truck. And,
Do you not understand how stupid that flex is?
I've got a personally branded truck.
That's like a goddamn German flexing that Germany supposedly sent more than, I don't know, Estonia.
Irina has her
do you not understand how different the economy of these sides is in the first place?
Flower festival in Belgium.
Yeah, of course USA sent more than the European Union. Holy
the Belgium Battalion Sniffing Brigade patch annual call sign.
Like,
absolutely amazing.
That's amazing. I love this, sunflower seeds. We usually use this,
There's not fair enough military aid to give these the only one who has enough in the warehouses is the USA.
That's amazing, mate.
Sure, Europe slacked off for decades, but at the side, Europe will get their shit together eventually. Just it will cost Ukraine dearly. True. The cost of this could be way lower if someone woke the fuck up and decided to send the aid. But what we instead have is Republicans going on a fucking break. How's their break going, by the way? You think they're done with the vacation? Are we thinking they're done with the vacation?
It seems that the best vehicle are now quads.
ATV,
that.
Like 4 days ago, we had a situation.
It's a direct security issue to NATO itself.
Fight with Russians in a distance like 20-15.
It's a direct security issue to the West itself.
It was like a shooting round.
I mean, the expendable trash countries in Eastern Europe. I would argue that by the point they are allow
we had to carry him,
Russians to
because
get the
the car
Easterners.
wasn't available
Like, that's
to
it.
come to pick him up.
That's it, you know.
So,
At that point, we know what Russia does on occupied areas. We know it mobilizes people from occupied areas. We know that as they go through getting more and more occupied areas, they're going to be getting access to more resources. They're going to be getting a firmer grasp on world economy. I would argue that if we give them the expendable Eastern Europeans, I'd say the Germans are fucked. I hope they know it.
The importance of quads and ATVs.
Yes. Republicans signed it just today. I saw the news about that too. So we had, it's 188 votes so far. We need 218, right? So we're still not close enough to be hopeful about getting it through, but it's something. Putin, we think he's a piece of shit, of course. We mostly compare him to Milosevic, because Milosevic was in the same way an ethno-nationalistic piece of shit as Putin is. So not really a good opinion, of course, not really a good opinion. Most people in Croatia support Ukraine fully, because most people in Croatia are aware that the struggle Ukraine is having right now is exactly the same as the one we had back in the homeland war, just on a much larger scale. So you have a side that is militarily stronger than you and more numerous, attacking.
36th Marine Brigade. This is a well-known Mykolaiv brigade of
So the
Marines
French people
who
like
have
Putin,
been
I would say
actively
the French
fighting in the
people are
war zone
traitors to
since
France
the
then.
beginning of the Russia-Ukrainian war in 2014.
It happens.
This is a
It's
brigade
something
that
that
has remained loyal to the Ukrainian
it's a sad
people
thing to
and has
acknowledge,
not
but yeah, it
betrayed
happens. It's
its
like
oath
how Mongols
and
are
allegiance
fans
to
of
the
Putin
Ukrainian
too.
people.
You know, every country
From
has a fair
Crimea,
share of
we
imbeciles.
relocated to
Maybe in
Mykolaiv.
France it's about a third.
We hear
It
quite a
happens.
lot around the work that the
It's a
Marine
sad
Brigade's
thing, of
been
course.
doing
Putin
across
has
the Dnieper on the left bank.
been supporting
it's
extremist groups
very
in
difficult
a lot of
fighting
our countries,
position.
both the far
You know,
right
is
and
that
the far
something that
left.
his medical brigade
So
is
the number
involved
of
in
imbeciles that you
helping those
have
are
on
getting
either the
wounded?
far right or the far left is the number of people you will have
It is
supporting
very
Putin.
important to
This percentage
evacuate
being
the
high
guys who
is,
are
of course,
brought
very
from
worrisome.
the enemy lines by boat. When they arrive on shore,
Direct
they're
security
taken
issue for
by
countries
car
that border
to the
Russia and Ukraine, but I guess not so
stabilization
much for countries with American
Here,
troops in
we
them and
assess
American
their
nuclear arms
condition
protecting NATO.
and then transport them
Yeah,
to
here's
the
the thing
nearest hospital.
though. Here's the thing. USA gave
think I'm right in
security
saying that
assurances to Ukraine.
That's not an easy journey.
USA
So the positions
USA
on the left
failed
bank are under
on their
fire, and
security
actually
assurances to
the
Ukraine.
boat journey across the Dnieper
Right.
is within
If
Russian
USA
artillery and targeting
failed on
range, so
security
that was quite a
assurances
dangerous position to
that they
be
gave to Ukraine.
operating as
Oh, could be,
medics on
thank
the
you.
stabilization point.
If USA failed security
The enemy
assurances
artillery
to
shoots
Ukraine,
at anything
what makes
they
you
consider
think
a target.
they want to
Even
pull
medics are a
out
target
their
for the Russians, like a red rock to a
military
bull. They're
from
continually trying
Estonia
to hit our
if
medical
Estonia
teams,
gets attacked?
disrupt any evacuation,
What makes you
and try
trust
to
the
kill the
USA
wounded.
I'd like to invite Lemo
if
in.
USA already
This
pissed
man
on their
here
own word?
is an Estonian, and he is a paramedic, so he works in the medical industry. He helps us with the equipping and everything that you see that is in this ambulance.
Okay, this is a fully equipped ambulance. Here's a
I shall
monitor,
attack NATO and then we will see. Yeah,
defibrillator,
no, definitely.
Maybe
Just I
all
understand
the options,
from the
to
position
make,
of Eastern
to
Europeans, I
stay
fully
alive
understand
victims.
seeing USA
Also,
as an
fixation
unreliable
is,
ally because it already
operates
shows that it is an
cervical
unreliable
as,
ally,
pelvic,
right? So I understand
splits,
why
as
Eastern Europeans
if,
wouldn't feel safe.
eyeglass injuries. And also, here's a
USA will
warm
stay and
mask. You
protect
have
NATO.
to,
Again,
keep,
USA
fluids,
failed
warm,
security
and, also
assurances
having,
they gave to
all the
Ukraine.
time. Can keep, warm,
What
the
makes you
victims are
think
not, injured
USA is not going to
This is
fail
very
security
important and
assurances
necessary.
So we hope,
they gave to
you know,
Estonia?
This is the type of level of equipment that you need. I think you've also bought them like light armor as well, haven't you? And
Because like we already saw Russian missiles flying into Poland, we already saw them flying into
something
Romania.
that you do for us in
What
the
did
brigade,
USA
and it's
do
an
that?
absolutely
You know, they're
amazing
allies
thing.
with both
Thank
of
you as
those.
well,
What did
Elaine.
USA
The
do
work
about
you do is
that?
Amazing. Yeah, and
USA did
thank
nothing.
You so much for what you're
I'm
doing.
very
What did
grateful
USA
to
do
you.
about their own drone being destroyed in
What the 36th
international
Marine Brigade and
waters?
the other separate parts of the Marine
USA
Brigade
did
are doing on the
nothing.
left bank is unbelievably brave.
So
The
I
fact that they've been able to
absolutely
hold it for
can't
so
see
long,
where your
you are
idea
incredible
of
warriors.
certainty that USA is
Thank
not
you.
going to fail again is coming
Thanks to
from.
such
USA
support,
already is
we're
failing.
becoming even stronger and will be able to help our guys who are fighting for our independence. This is the badge of our
Yeah, it is
brigade's
also
medical
from Moldova.
service.
I'm
It
not.
was developed recently.
I don't know
I'm
what
sure it is unique.
amount
and
of
only you will
security
have one.
assurances USA gave to Moldova. Right? Which is why I was like, do we count Moldova in? Because Moldova should be counted in because of Transnistria too, right? Not even just because of the missiles. But then it reaches the point of also like Georgia. No, it's like, how much are they actually allies? And how much are they just allies by our word? But then we failed our word anyways, so it makes sense that the countries would feel we are unreliable because we failed our word.
These are shell tubes and are kept as trophy items.
You've managed
Did
to
fail
have
in
some
regard to what we
bag
could
as
have
well
equipped
here.
Ukraine with. Republicans want to protect Russia. You know why it is? I don't know if you looked into the Internet Research Agency. Internet
doesn't need
Research
that anymore.
Agency, let me show it to you.
Wow.
Wait, sorry Naif, I'm not giving my people enough attention. Internet Research Agency. Connected directly to Prigozhin. Directly to Prigozhin. Internet Research Agency and similar agencies, but this is the one that is the most known, so I like pointing out this one. Basically a Russian propaganda thing that was specifically targeting the democracies of our countries, right? Internet Research Agency would do things. I think we mentioned this yesterday. My favorite thing here is the one where they organized 2 protests at the same time. One of them was for a Muslim library to be opened here, and the other one is against it, right? They organized 2 protests at the same time, in the same place, with 2 opposing goals, and then they just allowed people to fight. Because something like this creates division in society. Something like this creates division, and something like this creates people to fall more into their tribes. What you see in that situation is people going more towards the far left and the far right. The Republicans that want to protect Russia are the far right Republicans, in the same way that you have Democrats who want to protect Russia, which are the far left ones. We've seen a lot of them giving the arguments too, people who are deluded that Russia is a communist country and shit like that. People who think that USA is all of the evil in the world and NATO expansion has been provoking Russia into doing these attacks when it didn't really want to do them, right? So you understand, it's like it's pushing more people to the fringes, and then people on the fringes are the ones who will support Russia. That's what they're doing. So yeah, that's why the reason you have so many Republicans being trash is in big part because of Russia's influence. Not fully, because you would still have far left and far right if you didn't have Russian influence. We all would, right? You always have some people who are intellectually questionable. But with these influences going on back decades, Russia has managed to strengthen these people's claim to democracy. Yeah, I saw Ukraine won against Bosnia. I saw it. Man, heartbreak. Because of just before that, I was seeing Bosnia is getting access to talks about getting into European Union. And they were so happy, and I was like, yay, Bosnian bros, they're going to get into EU. And I know European Union wanted to like do the American thing, where they tie issues together with no seeming link between them. Basically, the idea was that, is this light too strong? The idea was that the application of Bosnia and the application of Ukraine should be like treated together. And then it was also, I think, the application of Moldova into the mix. They're just trying to somehow deal with this as like one big enlargement of European Union rather than several small ones. So Bosnians were happy about getting in European Union with their brothers, and then you people beat their asses. Can understand why people want to ban TikTok when the speed and reach of it really benefits a lot of groups. So like, right? Oh my man. I think TikTok made a fuck up. I think TikTok made a fuck up when USA was talking about banning it. They released that notification. Have you seen that notification that was like, Oh, guys, TikTok is gonna get banned. If you don't want TikTok to get banned, call your representative, call your political representatives, and tell them not to ban TikTok. Like, the entire claim is that people are getting more radicalized on TikTok when it comes to the amount of misinformation that is being spread on it. And then you go and you spread misinformation about TikTok being banned, call your local representative so they don't get it banned. It wasn't even about banned, it was about the ownership of TikTok at the point. And then I remember there was this one politician, but I don't know USA people. So like y'all figure out which one it is. I'm gonna Google it maybe. Who said that he's been getting calls by kids who are saying that they're going to suicide if TikTok is banned. Like, oh, you're not really having the strongest fighters on your side, you know what I mean? You're not really having the strongest fighters. You got kids who are going to kill themselves if they can't see people dance on TikTok. And then you have people who think that TikTok is allowing them to show you what media doesn't want you to see, which are mostly AI edited images. So I don't really know what to tell you. I'm not against the ban. I can't be against the ban. The Republicans were the ultimate anti-Russia faction. Yeah, because they cared about USA. But right now, I think, you know what I think it's also though partially? I think they, because of the virtue of them being conservatives, they are quite salty about the fact that USA is progressing. I think that's what you see. So they will say something like, oh yeah, USA is going too much into the global homo direction, the woke mind virus and shit. Who is saying that? Like, is it Elon Musk? They say bullshit like that, and then they see a country like Russia where you can, you know, beat up your wife with no consequences, or you can rent out your apartment and you can write on doors that you're only renting it out to white people, and then only white people are allowed to, you know, try and get a place. Or you have too much Muslims in a country, so you just send them off to die in the fields of Ukraine. You're not conscripting people, white people from the cities. You go and conscript minorities because, you know, you want to control the numbers. It feels like people who are conservative in USA, also who are really racist, really sexist, really hateful overall, they look at Russia and they think Russia is a pinnacle of what a country should be. So because of that, they're willing to abandon USA, which they do not see as USA itself. They see it as like a global homo mockery of USA. They're willing to abandon that for what they think Russia is. Europe should be stronger, but we slacked for the last decade. True, no, definitely true. But still, my dude, like, come on. Realistically, USA is failing. I don't think it should be like a drastic thing to say that, yeah, USA is failing its allies as we speak. I do think they're going to get better. I don't think it's an impossible thing to fix, really. But, like, come on, let's be real on this. Do you think that the only perspective you see the world is from an Eastern European? I think the main perspective that I comment on is an Eastern European one. Sure, I think everyone's perspective is going to be uniquely a perspective of a situation where they have been raised. But yeah, of course, I think there's different perspectives that different people can see. I'm alright with accepting my biases, and I'm alright with my biases being pointed out in the same way. Some do not allow to rent house for military. Oh damn. Oh damn. Oh yeah, I don't know how that would work. Specific. I do feel like government subsidies for people who want to rent houses just for military would make sense. One thing is stable in Russia, terrorism. My man. Budapest Memorandum. Budapest Memorandum security assurances. Those ones specifically. Dnipro hydroelectric station at the moment of the impact of Russian missiles. Man. Budapest Memorandum was failed back when Russia invaded in 2014, really. Ameri pleb common folks complaining about aid to Ukraine, like the US isn't profiting from the war. Yeah, it's another part of the propaganda, not even just like Russian, I would say it's a Republican propaganda that's being pushed. The idea that we're not getting any sort of benefits for people in our country, or even that our countries are living worse because we're giving aid to Ukraine. Absolutely. Fuck, wait, which one of these is a link to the document itself? Which one of these is a link to the document itself? I assume this one quotes it, but I want exactly the link to it. Oh, here it is. I guess this one. Man, I really need to just make a obsidian on this and have it saved. Searching for link every time is like time consuming. The two places where militaries want there is users with flag and photo, I guess 10 times higher price? The fuck is that? That sounds stupid. That sounds like a damassery. That sounds like damassery. Oh, come on. Show me this properly. Show me this properly. Show me this properly. Show me this properly. United States of America reaffirms their commitment to seek immediate United Nations Security Council action to provide assistance to Ukraine as a non-nuclear weapon state party to the Treaty on Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons if Ukraine should become a victim of an act of aggression or an object of a threat of aggression in which nuclear weapons are used. What happened when Russia invaded Ukraine? What happened when Russia invaded Ukraine? Hey bro, Russia has nukes. You're gonna attack Russia back, we're gonna use nukes against you. What did we do? What did we do? At the time Ukraine got attacked by Russia, which used the power of nuclear weapons on its side to demand that we are not allowed to fight against them or they're gonna blow us all up into pieces. Nothing. We did nothing. No, the Budapest Memorandum was a shit document from the start, absolutely. Partially because signing any sort of a document with Russia is a waste of time. But like nothing happened. Nothing fucking happened. Absolutely nothing happened at the time. We had the assurances that hey, something's going to happen after this. If you give up your nukes and then if you get attacked, we're going to get you aid. We're going to get you aid, alright? We promise we're gonna get you aid. Did we get aid? No. We got nothing. We got absolutely nothing. Russia would have vetoed any action for obvious reasons. Of course it would have. Of course it would have. Which is why there should have been demands to remove them from the Security Council the second that they invaded Ukraine. They should have been kicked out immediately. They weren't. Like nothing fucking happened at the time. Absolutely nothing happened at the time. We kept on cooperating with them. We kept on cooperating with them. And then the cooperation got even worse when Trump got into power, and Trump was all too happy to be sucking off Russian dicks. Nothing fucking happened about this. And I'm not saying that USA is the only one that failed, because if you look at UK, if you look at France, which also gave security assurances, but it was a different document, if you look at both of these countries, they were sending diplomats over. They were sending diplomats over to just like chill with Russians on Crimea. They didn't respect Ukraine's sovereignty, they didn't respect Ukraine's internationally recognized borders. They allowed Russians to just pretend to have a claim to this land. Like ridiculous. Security assurance, not a security guarantee, like with NATO. So because it's an assurance, you're saying that USA shouldn't be seen as a country that failed, despite the fact that Ukraine gave up its nukes, because Ukraine believed that if it gets attacked without having its nukes, it's going to be protected by the likes of USA. So Ukraine gets attacked. It's not getting any protection. Not only is it not getting any protection, it's getting pushed into signing Minsk deals. How in the world are we not supposed to be seeing them as failing? Russian? We can just immediately deal a timeout since I didn't wake up the bot, but absolutely. Two 2014 was a little different. It was even more of an ambush than 2022. I do think, though, in that situation, I understand the comment. What's the problem is that it's always going to be an ambush. I think people who pretend we should feel safe because 2014 was, Russia sending Girkin without us knowing it was Girkin being sent, shit like that. I think they fail to understand that this is exactly what's going to happen when they attack other countries. They're not going to attack with tanks immediately. They're going to have ways, like they did with Crimea, like they did with imagining dumping of bombas for 8 years. So they would have a reason to send the military. In the very much same reason, they're going to be able to get into other countries and attack other countries without the West doing anything about it. Yeah, manufacturing a pretext. Yeah, it's always going to be like that. So the idea that we should feel safe in a world where, other countries in our position have felt safe, and then it turned out that this safety was false. I don't really think it holds much water. Oh man, USA warned Ukraine to stop attacks on Russia's energy infrastructure, warning that drone strikes could drive up global oil prices, provoke retaliation. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Man, I keep on hoping this is fake news. Ridiculous. White House had grown increasingly frustrated by brazen Ukrainian drone attacks that have struck oil refineries, terminals, depots, and storage facilities. Ridiculous. Man, I don't know. I'm still coping. Fake news. Fake news, alright? Fake news. Has to be fake news. Let me snort copium. Fake news. Is this the link that I clicked on already? Oh. We don't encourage or enable talks within Russia. Bitch, you're not giving any aid. The fuck do you want us to do? The hell is this? Like attacks on Russia itself. You know though this is bothering Russia now that I think about it. You know this is a big issue for Russia, don't you? Because they wouldn't be trying to pull all of their links if this wasn't a huge issue. This is like recently when they switched the Republican person. You remember when they had like several Republicans constantly shilling for Russia, and then they were discovered to be pieces of shit, as they always are. And then they got a new player into the mix. I don't care enough about USA politics to remember the names. I'm not gonna be lying to you. But this feels like them just pulling another link. They're like desperate enough to pull another link that they have in the USA government. Everyone imagined Russia would be a good partner. You can say it's a bad agreement, a bad understanding of Russia, bad policy, but I don't know how you can say the US failed its obligations. Do you not see how signing an agreement to give up your nukes, which are a deterrent to your country being invaded, you sign an agreement to give up your nukes with USA, which at the time was a strong ally with Russia, by the way. USA and Russia at the time were sucking each other off constantly. I'm preparing a whole list of data on this, but USA and Russia were deluded. Oh, USA and Russia were deluded. It was mostly USA deluded and Russia just playing along for some reason. But man, the idea of cooperation, the idea of a possibility of cooperation, possibility of Russia becoming a democratic nation. You know how much cash money USA spent at the time giving to Russia because Russia said that it has to get this cash money in order to become a democracy? Oh, if you don't give us enough aid, we're going to turn back into an autocracy, so you have to keep on giving us aid. So it kept on going on and on and on. USA absolutely was deluded, but then USA, together with Russia, pressures Ukraine into giving up its nukes. Ukraine gives up its nukes because it believes it has got enough security assurances, so in a way it lost a deterrent, but it gained another one because now it has security assurances from very strong players. And then Ukraine gets invaded and nothing fucking happens. How can you look at that situation and not see why USA is seen as a failure of an ally? Nothing happened. Ukraine got invaded in 2014. Nothing fucking happened. It just kept on going, and then Trump gets into power in USA, he's sucking off Russians. Nothing's happening still. I absolutely think it's fully justified, fully correct of Eastern Europeans to look at USA and to see them as an unreliable ally. Absolutely. There's no reason to be trusting USA in this situation. You've seen what they do. We've seen what they're doing in the last 2 years. Like, come on. What war here is genuinely confusing you? What here is genuinely confusing you at this point? USA will have to publicly say this, no matter what, even if they supported it. It's also propaganda in posturing war. Oh shit, yeah, that's true, that's true. Maybe Trump winning could actually be better for Ukraine. I think Trump winning would be a wild card. And I'm not too positive about the idea of relying on a wild card. I do think that because I've seen people say that because he is demented as fuck. Because he is demented as fuck, he might actually be having to put a lot of people in positions of leadership that are not actually going to be controlled by him fully. So there's a possibility because he's going to be surrounded by better people that they actually do something. But I'm not really sure how much I'm buying into that. And you know what else is a problem for me? We've seen Trump voters. And Trump voters are okay with Ukraine getting genocided. I think Trump voters would oppose any sort of aid going to Ukraine. And I don't think they would oppose it on the grounds of Russia getting provoked, as you hear now. I think they would oppose it on the account of saving Ukraine from a genocide is something wrong in their eyes. Like, you've seen their interviews, you've seen what sort of policies these people support, you've seen the ways that they will very openly in front of camera say that Putin is just taking what belongs to him, so why should we fight against it? He's just taking what is his. I think that allowing a group with that sort of a mindset, a rule over your country, is something that I personally wouldn't dare to step into. I think it's a very dangerous situation. Oh, it's stylization for the stream. It's the stream thing. Best case, help from USA will be in the middle of 2025. And as for sanctions, as for gas, Russia has shot itself in the foot. Yeah, I see that. Joe doesn't want oil prices to go back up too much before election time. I understand that. I also don't really know how much we should... Because listen, Trump is a very dangerous man. Trump is a very, very dangerous man, all right? If Trump gets into power, NATO itself is very likely fucked. Trump gets into power, we all are in danger. Now though, attacking oil facilities in Russia may be raising prices of oil in USA, which may be losing Biden its votes. And I think this is the point where you're putting on a scale, Biden loses votes, hurting, the possibility of him getting re-elected, so Trump might win, versus Russia loses oil refineries, losing the ability to get more funds into its budget and losing the ability to wage war. And this is where we have to figure out which one of these is going to have a stronger effect on Ukraine itself. Right? Which one of these is going to have a stronger effect on Ukraine itself? What is going to lose them support? And yeah, it's a dangerous thing to talk about. It's a dangerous thing to acknowledge in the first place, really, because what they're basically telling to Ukrainians is that, hey, you're not allowed to go and attack a nation attempting to genocide you, because with the current political situation, a nation genociding you still has a lot of, resources to give. It sucks as a conversation. It absolutely sucks. Does it cost Russia more money than it would the West? If it doesn't, then Ukraine should probably stop attacking Russian oil. Yeah, I feel that's the argument. Though I do feel like it should be affecting Russia more than it affects us globally.
Croatian flag.
I feel it should. But I'm guessing that there's people with way better stats when it comes to this, analyzing the situation. Croatian flag, absolutely. Leponosham. Let me put a flaggy flag, copy image. Flag thing. Flag thing. So yeah, overall I see the point. I just oh no, I feel like hurting Russia should be the priority of Ukraine, especially in the current situation. I'm kind of feeling that hurting Russia should be a priority before listening to what Ukraine should do regarding a re-election campaign for a country that has been not sending aid in the last few months. That's the way I'm kind of feeling it at the time. Hurting Russia more important than being engaged in Biden's presidential campaign. I wish the Western idea of being tired of this war was more in the line of, hey, fuck this war, we need to end it soon by evaporating every single Russian soldier. I wish we had more of that. I think if doing politics properly, we can even encourage that. It would just be, in some countries, quite a move in rhetoric. Decidedly not yes. He said the agreement was that nuclear powers would not use such weapons against Ukraine, and that the agreement essentially echoed other treaties. Exactly how those commitments are carried out will have to evolve. Yeah, do you not see in that situation why USA is seen as an unreliable ally? Because like I stand by them being an unreliable ally. Sure, if they use if their security assurances are presented in a way that makes it easy for them to do nothing about you being invaded, what's the worth of their security assurances? There's no worth to their security assurances. And then it brings you to the point of NATO. What's NATO Article 5? What sort of an action does NATO Article 5 demand of, let's say, USA if Estonia gets invaded by Russia? Wish we would all be a little bit more French. Same. Asking again. What does NATO Article 5 demand USA does if Estonia gets invaded by Russia? Everyone continued to do business with Russia. Are we blind of Trump doing business with Russia? Are we now pretending he never did it? Are we pretending he didn't do secret meetings with Russians behind closed doors? USA was not unique among other countries when it comes to that. It was unique back in 2008, sure, because in 2008 when Ukraine and Georgia demanded to get into NATO, USA was the country that supported this. But come on. Yeah, UK for a while too. But UK was also sending people to Russia. UK was sending people to Russia as diplomats. And not only was it sending people to Russia as diplomats, UK had their own people working for Russia Today. And it had Russia Today people working for them. UK was close to Russians. The same way USA was. They all failed. Who wrote it? Wait. Christopher Miller? Who the fuck is Christopher Miller? Should I know the name? But I can give you an answer on NATO Article 5. I can actually show you the answer to Article 5. Article 5. If such an armed attack occurs, each of them in exercise of the right of individual or collective self-defense recognized by Article 51 of the Charter of United Nations, will assist the party or parties so attacked by taking forthwith, individually and in concert with the other parties, such action as it deems necessary, including the use of armed force to restore and maintain the security of North Atlantic area. Any such attack should be reported to the Security Council. Such measures shall be terminated when the Security Council has taken the measures necessary to restore and maintain international peace and security. And then it defines what an armed attack on one of the more parties is. But like, you understand why this is a big problem here? Such actions as it deems necessary, including the possibility of using the armed force, but not demanding that they use armed force. They don't have to. They can. They don't have to. You know what that means? It means that in the same way Ukraine was attacked in 2014, and the USA did nothing to defend Ukraine in 2014, in the same way, if Estonia gets attacked by Russia in 2025, USA could look at the NATO Article 5 and go, hey, it says such action as it deems necessary. So we're sending them 1,000 helmets. We think that's gonna be enough. We're sending them 1,000 helmets. That's the action we deem necessary in this situation. I don't know what we're missing here. I didn't say it applies to Ukraine. I'm not trying to say it applies to Ukraine. That was not my argument. I'm saying that USA failures when it comes to previous actions informs the current lack of belief in USA status as an ally in Eastern Europe itself. I specifically pointed out the example of the attacked country being Estonia. I did not say it's Ukraine. I said the attacked country in this example is Estonia. And if Estonia were to get attacked, USA would very possibly be using the same excuses it used not to aid Ukraine when Ukraine got attacked in 2014. In Poland, I happen to be in Polish parts of the internet quite a lot. I think their memes are rather funny. I think Poles would be quite supportive of Ukraine, actually. I think Poles are quite based when it comes to this, mostly because they don't really like Russians. So I think that's kind of washing down a lot of previous arguments that they had with Ukraine itself. But yeah, I think Poland would be rather okay-ish. Christopher Miller is the guy who was peddling the Ukraine Nazis narrative for 9 years. Ah, that makes sense. So like he heard that USA is telling Ukraine not to attack Russian oil refineries. He heard it from confirmed sources, which are probably other people who believe in Ukraine Nazis argument. That makes sense. I think that makes sense. I would see that. Last time USA ally was attacked, what the USA did, there would be Falklands War between Argentina and Britain. USA did nothing. Oh damn. Oh shit. How do you think Estonia's neighbors would react if Estonia got attacked? I think Estonia currently is very strengthened by the fact Finland and Sweden are in NATO. Finland and Sweden being in NATO definitely makes the safety of this part of the world much better, because I do believe that previously if if Baltics got invaded, I do quite believe that NATO wouldn't do anything really. I do believe NATO wouldn't really do anything, but in this situation I do believe that it's more likely to react because it has NATO members closer to the Baltics. So that's kind of what I'm seeing. And also Poland getting stronger is really, really important. I'm from Poland, so I'm not much more confident. But I'm from a Western country, and I think it's a very privileged point of view to worry about gas prices. Yeah, it's a thing where we like have to balance out. Is it a privileged point of view? Yes. Is it a pussy point of view? Yes. At the same time, do they have that point of view? Yes, they do. And are they economically stronger than we are? Yes, they are. So, it's like, unless we can somehow get the based Eastern Europeans in leadership in Western nations, or at least close to Western nations somehow, so Westerners would be more likely to help us, we gotta play along with the Westerners. And, yeah, their pussy existence is going to be hurting us in the long run, definitely. Benefit is Sweden and Finland are practicing defense of Baltics to a higher degree. Yeah, makes much more sense to take action, definitely. Like if Finland and Sweden were not in NATO, but I think right now with Finland and Sweden being in NATO, and especially with Finland being in a position where it is in, I think Finland would be demanding a lot of action from allies, and I believe Finland and Sweden both have quite well-organized militaries themselves that would pose a significant challenge to Russians. And then also there is the fact, I don't know Fuck, I genuinely need to be collecting this. I'm gonna be collecting this over the weekend, I promise. But like, I've read about a lot about the perspective of states in European Union, how one country perceives each other, and then how this impacts our foreign policy. For example, a really interesting thing to talk about is the fact that corruption in Hungary is not really talked about as compared to corruption in other Eastern European states. Corruption in Balkan, often talked about. Corruption in Ukraine, often talked about. Corruption in Hungary, it only started being a talking point very recently. They've been stealing European Union funds for like a decade, and it only started being a talking point only recently because they are seen as more European. Hungary is seen as more European than Slavs are seen. And I believe that when you look at the Baltics and when you look at Finland, I believe Finland is the country that has this sort of a privileged position in the minds of Westerners, in which if you tell them Finland is being attacked, I believe that they would respond much more strongly than they would if like Estonia gets attacked and the only allies on the side of Estonia are other Baltic countries. I believe the Westerners would be responding much more weaker. Like, I genuinely don't have a shred of trust in them. The ones I have trust in right now are the Frenchies. And even that, I don't know if I should just be trusting Macron. I don't know how many Frenchies are aware of how historically important that man's current actions are. Our defenses are focused on bogging down the Russians in the swamps of eastern Finland. Based, I'm pretty sure Swedes would be very similar because, you know, let's be real. Let's be real. I trust the French. Currently, Macron is being very, very loud. I believe being very, very loud is what, at this point, is getting us a lot of benefits. Is it a sad thing that currently words are being, I don't know if I want to say more useful than some actions? It is fucking sad, absolutely. But Macron is the one who started the conversation on sending troops to Ukraine. Macron is the one who had the balls to start it. And then you saw other countries being like, yeah, maybe we could also do that. Maybe we also could be going and sending troops. And then you had them saying that, yeah, surely they could be sending troops just for training. It's going to be just for training. It's not going to be military actions. We're going to send troops just for training so Ukrainians don't have to travel to other countries to get training. We're just going to train them in Ukraine, right? Something like this is already a big change. If we had more people like that, willing to offer a big change in rhetoric, we would be doing much better. We do not have a lot of them. We do not have a lot of people like Macron who are willing to go out and to just present a plan like that. It's like when, wasn't it also Frenchies when they first sent those long-range missiles? What's the name of them? Can't remember the name of them. But that was also a big move, right? That was a big move. We need people willing to make the big move. Storm Shadows, true, thank you, Storm Shadows. That was a big move. There was a step forward. We need people willing to do a step forward. A lot of countries right now are staying, like I would say Germany is among these. They're like staying where they are. They're sending aid though. Germany did not stop sending aid. It's sending aid, but it's refusing to step up. It's refusing to send Taurus. It's refusing to send something extra. It's standing where it is, which is alright, but I think we really do benefit from voices which are like bringing it a step forward, genuinely. A Russian submarine force uses Scandinavian waters to and from their home port. Oh, damn! Oh my man, may they all get blown up. These conversations increase the likelihood of weapons being transferred. Yeah, it's like, you know, start it. Even if you're not sending as much, you're starting the conversation. That's good. Would we have other countries now talking about the possibility of sending troops to Ukraine if Macron didn't go out and say it? I don't really think we would. I genuinely think people starting these conversations are really valuable. Oh, weapons supply, Russia? Yeah, Russia fell off a lot in... Oh shit, was it 2022? I think it was 2022. I need to say that too. Basically, they failed a lot because they were supposed to do humongous arms sales to India at the time, and then they had to cancel them. They had to cancel them because they were using their weapons in Ukraine, and then whatever they were making fresh was also going to Ukraine, so they couldn't afford to send weapons to India. That was, I think, the start of them just falling apart when it comes to weapon deliveries to other countries, of course. The military will abandon the north to defend Stockholm, but now military service is mandatory, so in a couple of decades this might have changed. I actually saved a video on one country and I don't know which one. Which one was it? Which one was it? Which one was it? Denmark? Who introduced the compulsory... Was it compulsory military? For women too. I think I saved the video. I'm gonna show it to you. Think I'm gonna show it to you. I think I'm gonna show it to you. There's a fucking sad at the news. Oh yeah, and then the Frenchies and Germans. No, I absolutely do agree that Western Europe also failed. I do see Western Europe, I think I've said this like a few times already, I see Western Europe as much of unreliable allies as I do see USA. I think all of them are failing. I think all of them are absolutely fucking failing. First term zero policy was kind of base. Fuck them Eurocucks. I would even like be GG with that, to be completely honest. Could have just been like, yeah, fuck the Eurocucks. Yeah, broader economic sanctions. Estonia? I wouldn't consider Estonia to be Western Europe, really. No, Estonia is doing incredibly. Baltics are doing incredibly. Poland's doing alright. I am worried about the amount of Russian misinformation in Poland. So because of that, I think Baltics are actually our strongest allies when it comes to this. Wasn't it Latvia that was the first to bring up the idea of banning Russian grain imports? 2 years of full-scale war. 2 fucking years of full-scale war. And we've still been getting grain from Russia? Man. Oh yeah, Czechia also. Czechia, strong ally. Pavel is incredible. Pavel is incredible. Pavel's doing incredibly well. So yeah, true. I think I would even like see Czechia stronger on that point, and I would see Poland. But that's just because I'm very worried about Poles. And the amount of farmers they have around with the USSR flags. I'm just very worried about that. Very, very Hungarian to me. Very Hungarian to me, isn't it? Like, hey guys, remember when Soviets were absolutely fucking deranged against our people? Yeah, let's go kiss their asses right now. Just man. So Pavel's incredible. 155mm shell to my wallet, so in case I lose it, Pavel will find it. He feels it. He hears the clank on the floor and he's like, oh, a shell. He's good. He's really, really good. Trump went into Germany and was like, you guys gotta stop sucking off Russian oil, and they fucking laughed at him. It's the same as in 2008 when USA was fucking based and Frenchies and Germans were like, no guys, actually Russians are our friends. Russians are our friends. The Russians are really, really nice to us. Why can't we keep on working with them? Why wouldn't we deny NATO applications to both Georgia and Ukraine? Why wouldn't we do that? And then Russia attacks Georgia, and then Europeans are like, guys, we're gonna do a investigation on this. We're gonna do an investigation, and it's gonna be a non-biased one. We promise you. We promise, all right? Here's a paper. and it says that both sides are guilty for this war. It says both sides are fucking guilty. Have you read the paper? Man, I'm gonna do a review of the fucking paper. I hate that paper so much. That paper is like, you know what people do in those king fucking couple things where they write an agreement? They write an agreement and one partner is like, yeah, my partner is allowed to fuck me in the ass whenever he wants. I sign here. That's what we did to Russia with that paper. Because the paper is basically, oh yeah, both sides are equally guilty for this war. But Russia was sending militants into Georgia. Russia lied about Georgia attempting to ethnically cleanse Russians, so Russia would be sending more militants in. Russia kept on funding separatists inside Georgia and funding them with cash money and funding them with weapons and funding them with equipment. Russian militants in this area kept on attacking Georgians and driving them out of their homes, beating them up on the fucking street, right? But Georgia is also guilty because Georgian military actually fired the first official military shot. Because the Russian shots, they were not military shots. This was a shot from separatists. Like how Girkin was a separatist, that's how separatists in Georgia were separatists. So Georgian military fired the first shot, and then we see them as equally guilty, really. We see them as equally guilty. And then they go like, Georgia is claiming there was military action from Russia before Georgia fired the first shot. Georgia is claiming there was military action from Russia, and we couldn't find evidence for this, but we did find evidence of Russian militants crossing over and then having weapons, and then these weapons being supplied by Russia itself. And then these people attacking Georgian people on the street and fucking killing them on the street. We did find evidence of all of this, but we can't really find evidence of military actions that would make Georgia's firing a shot, what's the word? Justified, in a way. Like, it was such a stupid document. We tried to cope so much with the fact that Russia is an aggressor just because we wanted to keep on buying cheap gas. Ridiculous. Did anyone think people would vote for anyone else but Putin? I've got no idea. I'm also salty about that. I'm also fucking salty about that. Not even about the results of the elections, because we all knew Russians will not count the votes, right? Also, I was thinking about that recently. You know how I watched that video on the reason why autocracies do fake elections? And the idea was autocracies do fake elections in part because then they were able to have all of these votes collected, and then they look through these votes and they know the statistics, right? They will not tell you the statistics, right? But hypothetically, let's bring up the example of Russia, right? Let's say hypothetically, they count the votes and they figure out Putin got like 5% of the votes. And they would be like, ah, shit, Putin got a really tiny amount of votes, so something needs to change in order for people to still be willing to lick his ass, right? You can't have him in power too long if everyone hates him, of course. I don't think Russians are doing that. I don't think they're doing that. I think they're doing fake elections in like even more of a mentally challenged way. Because if you've seen the videos of them like bringing in fake ballots or them stuffing the boxes beforehand, like there's videos of the ballot box already being partially filled, and then every new voter just like throws some ballot in a box that's already been filled. I don't even think they're counting the votes. I don't even think they're smart enough to do something like that. I don't think they do like population polling in that sort of a way. I think they just do them as a little performance. In big part for the Westerners. Going to lose so much of the respect he has left around the world if they go and elect Trump again? Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely. Man, that would be so goddamn concerning. Holy crap. Telegram at this point, yeah. At this point, yeah. Yeah, I got no idea on that, my dude. What did I want to click on? I wanted to click on something and I forgot what I wanted to click on. Here it is. Ah, contradicted the USA intelligence agency, said there has been no reason for Russia to meddle in the vote. Okay, here's my question. 2017. 2017, USA is like sanction the fuckers. 2018, Trump's doing ball licking. What was the change? What was the change? Because I'm also aware of his like secret meetings with Lavrov. But like, why? Surely he already had enough power back in 2017 to be influencing the situation, right? US bill will head to the Senate before Trump faces the tricky choice of whether to use his veto. The bill constitutes a rebuke of Trump, who has frequently lauded Russian President Vladimir Putin while calling for closer relations with Moscow. Oh. All right. So the House of Representatives was supportive of sanctions, but then he headed to the Senate. And how did the Senate vote? Man, I need to look into this properly. But like, I wonder how did the Senate vote at the time. Heavy infantry armors, southeastern Europe. Thousands of combat vehicles, Abrams tanks, and Bradley vehicles deployed by the Americans. They will remain for the next 9 months. Deterring potential aggression and reassuring NATO allies. 9 months though. 9 months. Wouldn't using Telegram be like, for example, using Twitter? In the way that it very often is going to be used as a way to get a lot of disinformation. But at the same time, it can also be, like, depends on how you use it. Wouldn't it be like that? Didn't care about Ukraine because they'd rather do business with Putin. US led efforts in the UN in 2014 to affirm territorial integrity of Ukraine, including Crimea, and impose sanctions unilaterally against active European Union pressure. Senate voted almost unanimously for the sanctions against Russia, including Republicans. So the traitor was Trump himself at the time, not the rest of Republican Party. Is the same as Russian language, keeps them isolated from Western world. I think, though, the issue is you don't really have an alternative. Plus, if the website is so popular that, like, can you really switch it so much? Can you really switch it that much? Trump, who says that we shouldn't support NATO because the European Union doesn't contribute and they're ungrateful ally, just plays into Trump's hands. But it's not just because he said that, it's also because he was very supportive of Putin. It's not just of him saying that we shouldn't support NATO because the European Union doesn't contribute. It's also because of him saying that Russians should be able to do whatever they want to countries that are USA allies. Candidates for office say one thing to get elected. Once in office, do something else. Same thing that applies to Trump. So was Trump's view of Russia negative while he was being elected, and then when he got elected, he changed it to a more positive view? I thinks we should be like putting you up on obligations. Yeah, Trump definitely, when it comes to people who failed, Trump definitely would be seen as an American who has failed Ukraine. But also, I don't think that's what's painting USA as bad allies. Like, y'all people let Republicans go on a full goddamn vacation, which was right in time when Navalny got killed, wasn't it? Right in time when Navalny got killed. And still, there's nothing happening when it comes to aid in that situation. We're still not getting crap. I just genuinely don't see why it would be surprising decent Europeans are seeing USA as unreliable, genuinely. When they fully learn how things really are. Though, I mean, it would be interesting to see what Trump has changed his mind on. Because I don't know if he had a different view of his presidency here. But man, I don't know, I'm pretty sure the man was a clown before getting elected, and he stayed a clown when he got elected. I don't know if he really changed any of his views. I'm pretty sure his platform has stayed rather consistent. There were things that were pointed out to be his lies in the campaign, but I think he stuck to them anyways, didn't he? Like the idea of him being like strongly religious or the shit like that. But he stuck to the performance, regardless. Oh, it's 11:35. Holy shit, it's 11:35. Wait, which country did I want to show you? Which country did I want to show you? Time 11:36. 11:36. I can be streaming until around 12 because I'm gonna get to work. It was Denmark. It was Denmark. I was correct. It was Denmark. When you look at even Trump's administration's actions despite his own views versus European Union actions towards Russia in the aftermath of 2014, but I think that where we ultimately kinda divert is this idea of comparing USA to Europe. Because I don't think that what would make USA a reliable ally is them being better than Western Europeans, which were shit eaters at the time. I don't think being better than them means that USA is a reliable ally. I think what would make USA into a reliable ally would be a constant supply of both weapons and aid, which we're not really seeing has been going on in the last few months at this point. It's not about whether they are better than European Union, and I don't think I ever said that the response of European Union or even like specific European states has been anything but a traitorship. Yeah, it's not about whether they are better than like Frenchies or Germans. I think we all know Frenchies and Germans both failed. I wouldn't call them reliable allies either. I'm saying both European Union and the USA are failing. I'm saying both of them are failing. Europe should be the change they want to see. I could see that. I could see that, but also like, let's be real, my dudes. Let's be real. USA is immensely powerful. Let's be real. To have an immensely powerful state like that failing in the amount of weapons they could be sending to you to defend yourself. Like, I feel it's absolutely alright to call them unreliable. I'm talking about a state that's incredibly goddamn powerful, alright? It's not like we're looking at, I don't know, goddamn Croatia sending every single helicopter we had in our possession, right? You're not having a situation like that. You're having them having a humongous goddamn military, plus sending old stocks that they have, and then they will have to replace. And by replacing them, they will have to be creating more jobs for USA people within USA itself. And they're failing to do that. Congress has been getting pressure from their constituents about not sending stuff to Ukraine. And it's an election year, so take that into account. I understand that there's a lot of pressure on that. I also, I think what matters to me is the fact that Ukraine's still being attacked. And good people are still dying there on the front line. And from my perspective, something like that forms my view of allies of Ukraine way stronger. So I understand it's an election year, but also I'm willing to see you a traitor if during the election year you are sending less aid to people battling a genocide. Know what I mean? Describing US as unreliable allies doesn't help Putin. Oh, of course it does help Putin. Of course it does help Putin. But you know what else is not going to help any of our states, let alone Putin? Blind trust in USA. Because you know who had blind trust in the help of Westerners? Ukraine did. Not really blind. I wouldn't call it blind as much as I would call it tragically misinformed. But they trusted that they're going to get helped. They trusted that they're going to get helped, and what did they get? Fucking Minsk deals thrown upon them. So we gotta figure out the reality of the situation. The reality of the situation is that we in the East are very likely gonna get fucked if we get attacked. It's just, it's a factual situation. If USA wants to fix the perception, they are more than welcome to send more aid to Ukraine. Being too naive, could say that. I'm not even sure how it could have been fixed, to be fair, because the Budapest Memorandum deal was genuinely, it was a good deal for all sides at the time, including Ukraine, which didn't even know how it's going to be able to maintain these nukes. So I understand how it was a good deal for all of them. I just also don't understand them being extremely salty after, getting invaded, and then the invasion just ongoing for 8 fucking years without anything really happening. Just nothing happened about it. And then 2022 rolls in and we get a full-scale invasion, and our friends are still failing. Come on. Abandoning the Kurds. Okay, alright, abandoning the Kurds was fucking ridiculous. Alright, that was that was ridiculous on a whole other level. I don't even know what was the idea behind that, to be completely honest. From the failure of the spring offensive, things can change as Macron and others stress Ukrainian success essential to United States and other countries. Oh, let's hope. Let's hope that it creates enough of a change, really.
Well beyond the front lines in eastern Ukraine. For the first time ever, Denmark plans to draft both men and women into military service. It's only the third European country.
But this reminds me of a conversation, though. Didn't we have a conversation on this on the stream?
The government wants to call up 5,000 co-ed conscripts
about whether something like this, whether money used for this would be more used in funding the military more and sending more weapons over to Ukraine rather than preparing your own militaries, because if your own country gets attacked,
That's why the government is proposing that we expand conscription, making the responsibility greater and the tasks more numerous. And we're proposing full gender equality. We have no doubt that increased gender equality will create a more modern and diverse defense that reflects the times we live in.
Well, I'm joined
I
now
fully
by
support the
Anna
gender
Sophie
equality
Alarm.
thing, though.
She's a Danish lawyer, author, and journalist, and she joins us tonight from the capital of Denmark, Copenhagen. It's good to have you with us. maybe if you could put us in the mind
go off about
of the
this yet.
Danes.
It's,
Explain
you
to
know,
us why
it's
making
because
the
it's
military
destroying their
service
argument.
more co-ed. Why is that
So
important
they
right
choose
now?
to ignore it. Because the argument was always, men will have to die if war happens, so women are privileged. So now there's full gender equality in this, and now suddenly, it breaks the idea that men are inherently targeted. It's similar to how here, like my father is what you would call anti-feminist, one of those online types who don't know what feminism is. And his argument for the longest time was that feminism bad because feminism made women have a pension earlier than men, which isn't even true, by the way. It's not because of feminism that we got pensions earlier. The feminist movement wasn't even like existing in our parts of the world at the time. It was just because women were seen as weaker, so they got pensions earlier. But what actually happened in recent years is women started getting pensions later, right? Women started getting pensions later than what women's usual one was, because they started to match men's pension age. And now I think Croatia in 2025 is going to have equal pension going age for men and women. But now suddenly none of these anti-feminist men are commenting on that, because it took away their argument. The argument was stupid from the start, but now that it's crumbling in front of them, they're just choosing to ignore it. Women not being as disposable as men, and the nation will die if too many women die. I mean, to be fair, it was kind of about older women. The situation was kind of about older women. But it was mostly because of the nature of the jobs that they were taking, and also about the fact that older women were the ones who were going to be kind of aiding the community better, was what the view that we had here in Yugoslavia, right? Like, if you're an older woman, should you be working or should you be raising your grandchildren so your daughter can work? And if you're an older man, you're not going to be raising your grandchildren anyways. You're not expected to do so. But also women were the ones who were doing mostly physical labor when it comes to jobs like keeping the farms going, keeping the fields going. Working in the vineyards is a really big thing here. It was mostly women who were working in the vineyards. It was men who were the ones organizing the work. But it was mostly the women. Like my grandfather, for example, he was the boss of an entire huge part of our vineyards. Everyone working below him were women, right? He was the one who was going there to check if their work was good. He was the one who was going there to do inspections and everything. But it was the women who were actually doing the physical labor. So it made sense that, the pension age would be adjusting accordingly to that. Now, of course, it's changing because we're reaching gender equality, and I support it changing. It's just they are ignoring it.
As a reaction to that, and how much of it is maybe a preparation for a
military, you can
possible
easily get
second
laid
Donald Trump presidency?
Through that.
I think a lot of factors play together right now. We have the war in Ukraine. Also, we see, and the Danes have very strong allies to Ukraine, big donors also of aircraft.
Most modern workers don't be automated.
So
I think,
that's
yeah.
one thing we see.
It's one of those things that,
that well from the Ukrainian
personally, I don't feel anything
also
about,
see
so I
that,
think I'm just surrounded
we
mostly by
can
people
maybe
who
not
also
be-
don't
we
really
maybe not in a position where
think
we
we're
can
gonna
bet
survive.
on, American support
I think we're gonna be
for
fine.
the long run in Europe, and so we need to create
No
much
way.
stronger, not only better funded, better staff, but
What is the average pension in Norway? Right, guarantee pension. A guarantee pension will replace the minimum pension in the current pension. Guarantee pension is income tested. But that's like the minimum one? Alright. So guarantee pension. Let's go for 2020 for a single pensioner. 17 yearly, right? Yeah, so I guess 17,000 euros yearly. €17,500. Yeah. Which is like 1,000 and something. I mean, that's really good still. 1,000 and something per month. That's really, really, really good. Voluntary private, late retirement, childcare, unemployment. This doesn't sound good considering how expensive Norway is. I want to know what their wages are. Minimum wage. There's no minimum wage? Oh, I mean, then it's better to be getting a pension. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Alright, no minimum wage. What's the word for that? For how much are people able to spend? I know what I want to look up, and I don't know what I want to Google. High enough for Finns to actually seek work there to live comfortably in Finland. So it's like in Croatia, where our wages are not really exemplary here, but Serbs who come working here can then go back to Serbia and live like gods. Minimums are decided in collective agreements. I mean, if you have strong unions, I do even see the benefit of that system, to be completely honest. Because right now, for example, I work for a minimum wage plus extras, right? But the basis is like minimum wage, and I do feel like if we had a stronger union to actually demand different wages for people in the industry itself, then I don't know if it would have been better, actually. I don't know if it's copium. I don't know if people who live in countries where there's no minimum wage are like, man, I wish there was a set minimum wage. So, you know, they wouldn't be allowed to pay us less than that. Starts failing by the introduction of gig economy? Oh. Could earn more as a fish pack in Norway than I would as a chef in Finland. So what the fuck? Yeah, that too. It's like how you will earn more if in Germany, if you go there to wash old people's asses, you earn more in Germany than you do with a proper state job in Croatia. We had so many people who worked. We actually are dealing with an issue right now because we don't have enough people working in state jobs. So like, you know, women who like, you bring them paperwork and they put a stamp on it and return it to you. Easy fucking job. Lots of free days, lots of benefits. You're not gonna get fired for no fucking reason. Easy proper job, genuinely. And yet people who work these jobs have been getting education to work as caregivers, and then they go in Germany and they wash old people's asses and they get more cash money for it. So it's like, yeah, a concerning situation. Definitely the differences between our countries are wild. Like here, someone with 1,000 euro pension per month, that would be rich. My grandmother's getting like 100 something. So that would be rich. That would be, I think, in top like 1% of pensioners, because most of them get way lower pensions than that. Oh, I'm sorry you're eating soup. I hope it's good. Hope it doesn't have little chunks floating around. Would get more in Norway or Iceland or USA than in Finland, but moving isn't really an option. Yeah, it's always like that, isn't it? You look at so many of your brethren moving around, and then you're like, oh yeah, would I do that? I don't know. It's like that for me too, because a lot of people from my village, for example, have moved to Germany, and I'm not a particular fan of Germany. I don't know why. I feel I would rather go to like many other countries. I don't know what it is about Germany. That just makes it not really feel like a suitable work option. But you look at how much money there is to be earned there, and you're like, yeah, maybe. People work in the US and live in Mexico. Both US and Mexicans do this. Oh man. We also have a thing. Oh, I kind of wonder if like Norwegians also do that. We have a thing here where pensioners from other countries come here to live like lords. So like German pensioners, for example, they buy weekend houses here, and with their German pension, they can just live like gods truly. They can spend all the money on just luxury bullshit. It's so easy. I know one of them. She gets her house repainted every 6 months. And she gets a designer to like redo the interior design. A goddamn pensioner. USA pensioner. Because here having a house is so cheap compared to Germany. And then paying utilities is so cheap compared to Germany. She's just able to do whatever the hell she wants. She's really casual. Yeah, politically, of course, we are in politics, are we not? Iceland? Isn't Iceland going through a crazy volcano eruption? Yeah, how's that going? That kind of just slipped out of the news. That just slipped out. That just disappeared 22 hours ago. It'll have an impact as far as Russia. Oh no. Oh no. Oh man. The town was once again evacuated. Eruptive activity appears to be relatively stable. Rest of the country is safe for now. While eruption is stable, gas pollution is still a concern. Oh man! Cute. Might continue for 100 to 200 years. Holy shit, there's gonna be whole generations who were born into this situation and died in this situation. Man. The plume of sulfur dioxide will likely transport over the next 5 days. It reached Ireland and the UK, and then it's gonna reach Scandinavia and then northwest Russia. They're likely going to abandon the city. Oh. Was that a situation where they knew? Were they always like, oh yeah, you know, volcano eruption might be happening and one day we'll have to be leaving? Do we think they knew? Are they aware of how close the danger was? Ad block. Going to fart on Europe. True, disgusting, releasing gases and then endangering the lives of our citizens. Ew. Hey, by the way, we didn't go through my news, but at this point, it's like already, holy shit, 11:59. I gotta go. 88 missiles, 63 drones. When we hesitate, Ukraine pays in blood. Yet apparently the call for restraint on Kyiv echoes louder in Washington than the demand for justice. Calls to limit actions for price stability ignore the real cost, lives and freedom. Man. There's no talk about destruction of the dam itself at the moment. It's larger and more powerful than Kakhovka HPP. Oh man. If theoretically the dam is broken, the consequences could be very severe. Oh man. It was modeled a huge wave would crash on the nearest city, Zaporizhia, and completely flood it. There would be a 20-meter wave in the coastal areas. The water would rise by 8 to 12 meters in the regional center in 5 hours. Flooding of the region would continue for at least 4 days. Streets and roads will be covered with silt up to half a meter high. According to the plot of the exercise, it was about breaking not only Dnipro HPP, but the whole cascade. Alright. Ah, then this could entail the destruction of other dams. Oh my man, alright, alright. A couple of weeks ago I saw news about the state offering to buy all the houses, so people there won't suffer economic losses. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good, that's good. That's proper organization. I know nothing about exothermic cyclic core theory. So, it sounds like I can figure out the meaning, but also isn't it about like the cores, the ways that they move, and then like the ways that they move the cores, holy shit, not the cores. Basically the way that Earth interior moves, let's call it like that, because I haven't looked into this, so I don't know if I'm guessing properly. But like the way that it moves is creating, let's call them vulnerable areas, somewhere in the core, somewhere in the crust. And then this is why at some point you will have some volcanoes having way more activity than some other ones. I wanted to buy a big battery closer to summer, and prices will fall as low as possible, and now Russians are ruining electric stuff again. I mean, look, maybe batteries get even cheaper. Think positively, maybe they get even cheaper. And then you get them for really, really cheap. And then when we, you know, manage to evaporate Russians, you will have your cheap battery working properly. Natural Disaster Relief Fund, as if they'd be prepared for volcanoes. Oh, well, I'm happy to hear it's working better than the Turkish Natural Relief Fund, which was absolutely useless when they had that humongous earthquake going on. Active meaning it could erupt anytime soon, but it hasn't erupted for a while. Oh, holy shit. Are you gonna get a warning? I know nothing about volcano eruptions. I gotta be looking into that. But like, do you get a proper warning? Do you think, what I'm asking is, can it surprise you? Like you're just chilling in your home and there's an eruption. Can it just surprise you? Or will you be having a warning to run? Oh, there's gonna be many earthquakes. So there's a bunch of earthquakes and you run immediately. Live in a part of city where mostly all rockets and drones go through. Oh man! Tremors, so it's like and you're like, oh shit, so you have time to run. It can always surprise you. Oh shit. Look, my dude, I hope it doesn't surprise you. Oh shit. Iceland does extensive monitoring and has places evacuated ahead of risk. Alright. In case of Katla erupting, they get alarm, giving them 15 minutes to evacuate. Alright. Oh, wait, changes in the core affect Earth's magnetic field. Oh, it's about the magnetic field. And allows heat to rise all the way to the crust, possibly explaining some of recent warming. Oh, I'll have to look into that. Wait, let me save the term. And then I have to go. I have to go to work. Have to go to get my job. Streams next week will be happening. I don't know when though. Exothermic, cyclic core theory. Nice. I don't know if it's gonna be morning streams like this one right now, or if it's going to be afternoon streams like the ones last week, because yeah, I don't know how I'm working next week. So I'm going to let you know the second I learn, which is going to be either today or tomorrow, depending really. Is Europe ready to receive 15+ million refugees? See, Europe is idiotic on this. And idiotic in a way that until they get a huge number of refugees overflowing them, they will pretend that they are able to deal with this. When Yugoslavia was breaking apart, what happened was a much smaller scale, but what happened was overnight 1 million refugees. We're talking about Croats, Bosnians, Kosovars, and Slovenians, but overnight about 1 million started going into the lands of Europe, and Europe panicked. A big reason as to why Europe was some supportive, some complicit of bombing Belgrade was because they didn't know how to deal with all of these refugees. There were so many of them and they were coming in huge droves. So no, Europe can't deal with them. Europe cannot deal with a huge number of refugees. Europe is not properly organized to be dealing with that. Europe will not admit this until the system is overflowing. We are blind and we are stupid when it comes to this. Also going to work. So yeah, see you guys next week. If you have any news, send to me. If there's anything new going on, send it to me. I'm planning to do at least like 2 different researches on obsidian, so remind me of that next week, alright? And let's see that. Now I'm having to run because I genuinely have to go. My ride's gonna be here in about half an hour, so I have enough time to quickly make lunch and then run. So stay strong, stay healthy, stay hydrated. I don't know what to tell you, my dude. Stay safe from